Today, I'm here to show you how to string rackets with a one-piece stringing method. And stay tuned to the end to see what I do to determine if a racket has to be done in a one-piece stringing style. And that if you can do that, it'll save you a ton of time from getting all the way to the bottom, realizing that you can't get that string through because it had to have been a one-piece stringing method. First thing that I have to do different is I have to pull the strings for the one piece, like the other one that I showed you how to do. I had mains and I pulled off and cut them, and then I had crosses and I pulled off and cut them, so I had two separate strings. But for one piece, it's all the same string. So I need 39 feet, which is 13 yards, okay? So I gotta count. 2. I always do a little more because there's nothing worse than not having enough string on a one piece. Because unlike a two piece, if you don't have enough string, you literally have to cut the entire thing and do the whole racket over again. But with a two piece, I might only have to cut the crosses and redo the crosses. So now that I have this done, now it's time to put it in the racket. So I put the string, I get the string in there. I know this racket needs to have the strings put through the bottom of the hole because I counted and there's an even number of grommet holes here. So I get both strings through the bottom. Takes a little longer to pull these strings here. Okay, so I got them put through, even it out at the end. And I know that this racket has 14 mains, so I'm gonna pull. I go 1, 2, all the way to 14. Actually not 14, sorry, I go all the way to 17. There's 14 mains, so I need 2 7 mains on this side, and then I do a half. And then I make sure it doesn't move, and I clamp it at the bottom, just like that. And now I have to pull the strings all the way through on the other side, because what we just did is this part of the string is only going to be used for the mains, while the other side, the long side, is going to be used for the mains, this half of the mains, as well as the crosses. So I start pulling. A little trick, you want to make sure, like sometimes it'll slide down. We want this clamp to kind of be even before that first pull, just because it helps. So pull it, and now I'm starting to kind of do everything just like I would with any type of stringing. Except it just takes a lot longer to get through all of this string you have on one side. Because rather than having, what would it be, 20 feet divided by, so 10 feet of string to work with, we now have almost 30 feet of string to work with. So it just takes a lot longer to pull all the string through everything. Which is one of the reasons I don't really like doing rackets as one pieces, because I really feel like it just takes longer and it's more hassle with all that string. So I will catch up with you guys when we get to the end of the mains. So we're at the end of the mains here, as you can see, and one of the things that I like to do when I'm doing a one piece is, okay, tie offs right there. I'm gonna put the strings in through for the tie off. I'm gonna push it in. I'm not gonna tie it off though yet. I leave a little bit of slack here, and that is because it's sometimes with these one pieces you can do the tie off, and then it's really tricky to get the string through the hole, because like some of these one piece rackets, they just don't allow for a lot of space between the cross string and the main, or the cross string and the main string over here. So I've had times I did the tie off before I put this first cross string through, and then I had to take a lot of time figuring out a way to get it through, and it was just really frustrating. So if you do this little trick, it just makes things easier, and it saves you some time and frustration. So now that the cross string is through, I pull and I tighten that, just like that. Perfect, I do the tie. I have quite a bit extra string, so I'm gonna do a little quick cut. Just because when there's all that string around, just gets in the way. So I'll cut that string quick. And then I'm going to do the one ahead method on the crosses, just like I always do. So I get that through. It's a little tight there. This is kind of nice. When it's a little tight there, you can just use the pliers, grab the string from a spot. So we do that quick. Pull it through. Something to remember when you're doing a one piece is that this clamp is not needed anymore because we tied off this string, but this clamp is needed still because it's holding all of these mains. So we don't want to unclamp that until we get to a spot where that clamp, where this string is being pulled, and we can clamp it. So now when I pull this cross, now I can release this, put it on this main, and now we're good to go. Now we can start. Because one of the things that I've also done is I released this clamp before it was pulled, and that released all the tension in the whole frame, and I had to start over again. So that's a really important fact to remember when you are doing the one piece method, because you don't want to have to start all that all over again. I'm gonna get down to the end here and I'll catch you guys down there. So I'm at the end of the racket here. I just finished the last cross. I still have to pull it and clamp it, but I don't know if you can see this in the video since it's pretty small. I have a ton of extra string, and that is because before I did this, I did not realize this racket has a pattern of 14 mains and 17 crosses. So I would not have needed that 39 feet I originally talked about. Fortunately, this is an example where I had more string. I know there's times when you string an oversized racket, which is the ones that are greater than 100 square feet size in the frame. I know there's been times I didn't have enough string because I didn't look at that beforehand. So this is an error that wasn't that big of a deal. Yeah, I lose some string, but I'd much rather have that than the other way around where I didn't have enough string. So that's something to always be aware of. So I'm doing this last pull. Gonna pull it, clamp it, right? There we go. We are at the end. Before I do this, I'm gonna cut some string just because this is a lot of string to work with, and I don't need that much to do the last tie off. It's really nice that this racket's marked, so I know the tie off goes right here. Sometimes they're tricky to get in, so you can use the pliers to make it easier. Just nice and slow. And then you can do the pull. So I'm gonna do this tie off. Oops. I'm at a bit of a weird angle here because of the camera and stuff, so double knot. Awesome. We got that good. Release the clamp. Perfect. Smooth, make those strings nice and straight. Okay, so obviously big difference between two piece and one piece. With the two piece, there's only 2 knots where it's tied at. With a 2-piece stringing job, there would be 4 knots. Doesn't make too big of a difference, but just personally, I like doing the 2-piece stringing method better, because if you mess up, especially if you're new, if you mess up on the crosses, don't have enough string, or whatever reason, you can just cut the crosses and start from halfway through. But with only the 1-piece stringing, you mess up, you have to do the whole thing over again. All right, so I'm gonna do the cuts. Okay, we got that done. Okay, those are done. So a few of the things that I can do to tell if the racket has to be done in a 1-piece is, number one, the first thing I do is I look at what the racket is. If it's not one of the competitive lines from the top brands, such as like a Babolat, if I took the Babolat brand, if it wasn't a Pure Drive, Pure Arrow, or Pure Strike, then I'm gonna be like, okay, this could be a racket that's potentially gonna be a 1-piece. That's the first thing I do, and that gets me like thinking that this could be a one piece only racket. The second thing I do is I can look at the grommet holes down here. And as you can see, if you see these orange ones right here, if those grommets were down here, you can see there's not a lot of room. It'd be very difficult to fit 2 strings through that hole, because that's what you're doing when on these tie off. There's the main string going through, and then there's this cross string that I use to tie it off, so there's 2 strings going through the same hole. And if you can see that this is very thin, there's probably not a chance that I'm going to be able to get 2 strings through that. So if I see that near the bottom where my tie-offs have to be, that's a second signal that I'm like, this probably could be a one-piece racket. And then that's when I'm going to go online and look and try, or in the Stringer's Digest, and look to see if it says one piece only. So those are a few of my tips that I used to do in a one piece. Hope that helped a ton. I'm also going to show how to do a short side racket, as well as how to redo a grommet here pretty soon. So hit that like, hit that subscribe, comment below if there's anything else you want to see with stringing rackets or grommets or replacing grips. Just comment below and let me know.